right, so now I've got my colors selected, and I cheated a little bit just because I wasn't too concerned about which colors I used in this particular project because I'm just showing you. So I chose things that I had scraps for. That's a nice thing about stained glass is if you're careful, you can preserve a lot of scraps from prior projects and use them in the future. So I looked at my box of pieces, and instead of using kind of these nice big pieces I showed you earlier that are kind of untouched, maybe I'll save those for a future project where, you know, it's a little bit more planned out. And for this demonstration, I'm just going to see what cool scraps I had. So I had a nice kind of pretty piece of blue. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of a nice sort of, I don't know if it's true cobalt blue, but so this is a piece of cathedral glass, has some texture to it. I had a little scrap of this kind of swirly green and white, very heavily textured kind of cathedral glass also. It's kind of opalescent, some opalescent in there as well. Some just clear cathedral glass, a little bit dirty. I'm going to have to clean that for sure, but it also has some texture and some swirl to it. And then this is a pretty big piece, but as you can see, I've already used it for another project where I was cutting some fancy curves. So it is possible to cut curves. This is also a piece of cathedral glass with some texture to it. So I'm going to use these four colors, my yellow, my clear, my swirly kind of green, and my kind of cobalt blue. And then remember I said I made this design so I could use one of these melted marbles in the middle. I'm going to use kind of this little red glass melted marble in the center to kind of give a nice little red focal point there. So what I've done now, remember I've already numbered the pieces of my puzzle. And what I've done is, you probably, you can't read it from there, obviously, but right here I've kind of written my plan, which says that pieces 1, 12, 13, and 14, these kind of roundish ones, I'm going to use this scrap for it. Another way I sort of cheated is that this scrap happened to already have a nice little curve to it, and because curves are a little bit more difficult to cut, I thought, oh, well, maybe I can cut one of these pieces out of that and already have my curve there. And so that's kind of one of the neat things about stained glass. You can be thinking about the most economical way to use pieces, and sometimes you can find a use for a scrap you've got. So anyway, I've got my plan. I'm going to do these kind of rounded pieces in the swirly green. I'm going to do pieces 4, 5, 11, and 12 in kind of this clear cathedral glass. I'm going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, these 4 in here in the yellow. And then I'll do these rectangles, these 3 and 6 in the blue. So I have that plan kind of all written out. The next thing I'm going to do is cut my pattern.